He was overwhelmed at the last hearing he had this morning. He may have needed to take a break.
What did you do to him now?
I didn't anything. I expressed pity for him, for his plight.
Well, he's the case manager on this one.
No, he's in this case where the department let this father get out of prison and come live with the caretaker, the grandmother, and a month and a half later say, oh, you can't be there. And they're trying to kick him out or move the kids. And the kids want daddy in the home. The kids are school age, one's 11, and they want me to whip defects into shape, which I don't know that I can legally do. But anyway. There's no easy answer in that case. That's why I told the guardian to figure it out. My screen, Miss Crane, says Allison's iPhone number 2. You have multiple iPhones?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that must be nice. I had to buy a reconditioned one off the internet, while my adult children get $1,200-$1,500 new phones every God knows when. And my daughter had the gall to tell me that I called her and I said, what's this new phone? Oh, I bought a new phone. And I said, well, you didn't pay for it. And she said, oh, yes, I did. I paid like $1,200 or something. I said, well, if you paid for it, why am I getting billed by AT&T at $37 a month for the next 3 years? And she says, I don't know. He must have made a mistake. Well, we never got that mistake corrected. And guess why?
No, I understand. That's why I have so many iPhones, because my children.
My daughter lied through her teeth. Or she may have been delusional. I guess I shouldn't accuse her of lying. After your last performance this morning, I'm not going to do anything about your being late, Mr. Moore.
Thank you.
Mr. Skowronek chased you down. I told him you'd had a rough go this morning and you might have been in mourning.
My Zoom was re-downloading or updating or something, so it was not letting me in.
Okay. All right. I already announced the case name, and we've got attorneys galore and no parties. DFAC's attorney, Mr. Skowronek, the case manager, Mr. Moore, Ms. Brinson's the attorney for the dad, Henry Thrasher, who's not here. Ms. Crane's the attorney for the mom, Miss Skula, who hasn't been here since she voluntarily left the preliminary protective hearing, and we haven't seen her in court since. Some of our ears are still burning from her language at the last time she did appear. And Ms. Schrock is the attorney and guardian ad litem for the children. And did you excuse the children?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Skowronek.
So in an effort to comply with the court's request from before going on the record, Your Honor, I'm going to keep it very brief. The mother has made no progress on her case plan since we established the case plan. She has not undergone any of her assessments and also not had any visitation with the children. Mr. Thrasher has undergone his assessment, domestic violence, substance abuse, psychological, and parental fitness assessment. He was recently referred to a psychiatric evaluation with New Heights that's scheduled currently for November 16th at 10:45. Let's see here. The mother's whereabouts are unknown to the department. The mother has not had any visits, as I said. The father's visits are weekly and the community supervised. With regards to the visits, those are for on Mondays for several hours, and they're supervised by Ms. Zorn, who is the paternal aunt placement for the children. There have not been any concerns reported about Mr. Thrasher's visits with the children. The children, as I stated, are currently placed with Ms. Zorn. Let's see what else.
Who's a paternal aunt, correct?
That is correct. Bailey Brenda had last had a medical exam in August. The dental exam is scheduled for November of this year. Bailey had also a August medical exam and a dental that was done in October. There are no other medical conditions with regards to the children. Trauma assessment referral was made for the children. CCFA referral was made back in October. Children are elementary. Permanency plan is a reunification. Currently, the department is not asking for any change in permanency plan. Ms. Zolka was released from the Henry County Jail, and since that time, her whereabouts have been unknown.
Is all that information true and correct, Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to add?
No, sir.
I should
Anybody-
do one other thing, Your Honor. I'm sorry. As far as drug screens, the department has not had any drug screens from Mr. Thrasher this month. Mr. Moore indicated he's going to follow up with specimens to see about when they can go out. There was an attempt made, but Mr. Thrasher was not at the address where the attempt was made.
Was that made?
Yes, sir. I think he's in and out of that house. Also, he was finally able on late Friday. I got an email Saturday that said he confirmed with Loving Helping Hands, and they'll be providing him with his counseling services. So he'll do his counseling and substance abuse through Loving Helping Hands, and they were able to confirm with him, I guess, late Friday because she emailed me Saturday.
Our clerk's office continues to get mail returned. Street does not exist. There is no such address. And, you know, we talked with him the last time we were in court about having some mail returned, and he assured us that that's where he lived and that was a valid address. So I don't know, Ms. Brinson, do you?
I'm not sure about the address, Your Honor. I would say that it is still my understanding that he stays there, but it sounds like it might not be a valid postal address. But I don't have any updates from him as far as any new mailing address, so I will follow up with him and try to get that and provide it to.
If this is the case, if I recall, at the preliminary protective hearing, it sounded like this place should be condemned. If it hadn't been condemned, it was in really bad shape, and
Yes,
maybe not even having all the utilities hooked up. I don't know, but anyway,
but I'm actually not aware of any changes in his address, but I can certainly ask him that question and provide that information to Matthias. Is that
Sure.
okay?
That'd be fine. Thank you. Mr. Moore, in your talk with Mr. Thrasher, have you asked him where mom might be?
No, sir. The last time I talked to him, he didn't know where she was. When I talked to Ms. Zorn, she said she believed that mom was in Griffin.
Okay. There was I think all the relatives that we had identified, there was a niece of the father and then this aunt of the father. I don't know that we had any relatives of mom. If we did, I didn't. Did you give notice to the foster parent? Oh, Ms. Zorn has the kids, right?
Yes, sir.
Because we had a foster parent at the first hearing, but she's not involved. Okay. Do you know is Ms. Zorn allowing contact with the father at times other than the official supervised visits?
Yes, sir. If he calls, she'll let them speak with him, but they arrange for Mondays. So normally she'll just take the kids to him on Monday. Well, take the kids and meet him on Mondays,
Mhm.
and they'll do a few hours supervised, and then she'll take them back home.
Okay. All right. Everybody agrees the children remain dependent as to the parents.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
We have a reunification case plan for both parents, and those remain appropriate, although mom is probably going to be looking at a change here in the not too distant future unless she comes back
That's correct.
into this life. And mom has no compliance, and my dad is complying, correct?
Yes, sir.
Placement is appropriate. No
Yes, sir.
need for any change in the
Yes, Your
placement.
Honor.
Anybody contend there are any legally required services that should be afforded the caretaker, parents, or children that are not being afforded them?
No, sir.
No, Your Honor.
No, sir.
No.
Nobody's over 14. Does everybody agree that the department made reasonable efforts to avoid removal and are making reasonable efforts to facilitate permanency?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I'll give you a date to come back for panel review or judicial review in lieu of a panel. Would be December the 11th at 11 o'clock on Zoom. Does Mr. Moore, have you checked with the other part of your office to see if Ms. Salka is on any kind of benefits with the state? You know, like if she gets food stamps or if she gets
She was receiving that prior to the kids getting removed, but then they got cut off.
okay. What about food? Okay, so that she's not eligible as an adult, even a disabled adult.
The
I
last
know
time
they've
I checked,
reduced categories for eligibility, but
yeah, so the last time I checked, that was the last case that they had in the system was
okay.
with the family, not with her by herself.
What about Medicaid or Medicare?
She was receiving Medicaid.
Doesn't she have to update them with her contact
It
information?
was the previous address they had at the apartment they were living in.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, based on her rather inappropriate behavior at the first hearing, I suspect she has significant mental health issues that or either her lawyer knew how to poke the bear.
Not it.
You're not going to take responsibility?
No, sir. No.
Seriously, I mean, she was pitiful. I mean, she was inappropriate, but still pitiful because I think she really she probably needs some inpatient psychiatric stabilization and then get on meds full time and stay on them. Oh, well. Anything else we need to cover? I think that covers my checklist for 75-day review.
No, Your Honor, I just would add that for the 75-day review that the department does not currently intend to file for TPR.
Okay. December 11th at 11 on Zoom is the first judicial review, and you can prepare a proposed order and circulate to council from this review hearing.
I will.
This is the shortest one we've had in a while. All right. Ms. Trock, did you have anything else?
No, sir. I talked with the placement and the children last week, and they seem to be doing well. visiting with dad. The visits are going well, and they're gotten enrolled in school with Miss Thorne. So I think they're transitioning and adjusting.
Let me ask you, we've had this aunt, his aunt, that's the dad's aunt that's now taking care of the kids. And then we had a niece, a Miss Floyd, who I can't remember what she was doing, but she was here the first year. Do these people, have they made any comment or expressed any opinion about whether Mr. Thrasher, even if he goes through all these services, will be able to parent these kids by himself? Mr. Moore?
No, no, sir, not to me.
So they think he can do it by himself eventually.
According to them, he was doing quite a bit by himself, even when Miss Schooler was in the picture. Dad was like the primary person that was assisting with school and everything for the children.
He just seemed not the same kind of inappropriate that Mom was, but he just seemed to not grasp what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried if he didn't have some mental limitations, not necessarily mental illness, although he may have that too, but he seemed intellectually limited, I guess for lack of a better term.
His evaluations made some fairly significant recommendations for him, Your Honor, about, mental health and capacity and all of that. So he's got a long road to go before there would be any reunification with him.
But they don't find it. They haven't said that he's incompetent and won't ever be able to parent these kids alone. They haven't said that, right?
No, sir.
I don't think that was in there that I recall.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Well, I will see y'all. I got one more hearing this morning. Are y'all on that one?
That's me.
I am, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll see you at 11 o'clock.